What is up, everybody? We're back for week 2 of the new year, and it's week 2 of posting on back on Senate. And I decided a new tradition that I'm going to start doing is rating each week, just a little arbitrarily. But the different factors are going to be how well I think I did fitness-wise, how much I progressed, my advancement kind of in life, and that could be mentally, physically, or through wealth. Third, how well I did at my job. I feel like how successful I was. And then 4, how I guess it kind of goes back into progressing life, but also socially, did I improve this week? Did I talk to somebody new? Did I get closer to somebody? Did I get further away from somebody? Hopefully not, unless I want it to happen. But yeah, so I think those are the 4 things that I'm going to be kind of rating it off of. So they won't exactly have 25% each week because I do think doing terrible in one, like doing terrible in work, is probably going to affect my overall life more right now versus not really progressing further from where I am for the short term. But I think long term, of course, it's the other way. So I wrote this, I think, towards the end of when I was talking last time, but I wrote like-minded individuals. I know where this is from. I was editing the video, and at one point in the last video, I said like-minded individuals. And I wanted to clarify that I'm not talking about like an echo chamber. I don't want people just to come back to me and agree, but I want to find other individuals that are open to discussing different perspectives, because I don't try to debate you, because debating means that I'm trying to convince you of me being right. I don't necessarily want to convince you that I'm right. It's more of just also I want to learn what your perspective is. And then if you do decide my perspective is how you want to start viewing life, then that's great. But that doesn't really affect my life personally. Unless you're somebody that I care about and I think you're really doing something wrong, then I might speak up and say, hey, I think you should start doing it this way. Like, I don't know, if you gallop everywhere, I might say, hey, you might want to just walk normally, right? I don't know. That's not a huge issue, but something more along the lines of that, where it's a little bit wrong or outstanding to do that, and not in a good way. I guess, I don't know. I don't want to hate on people that gallop. I guess, okay. Yeah, so I wrote down some more context. I wrote down some even more context, and I wrote, this is one of my favorite quotes. I wrote down, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And unfortunately, I've had that lesson taught to me a couple times now. And if you ever had a moment where you're trying to help somebody that you care about, and you're trying to help them, and they just don't understand you, they won't listen to you, or they just don't believe you, and eventually you just have to give up. And not because you want to, but because at that point, that mentality is just so self-destructive that it also starts to rub off on you, and it just doesn't. It isn't a good cycle in your life, right? And that's what I mean when I say you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. But so going back to, I rate this last week about a 2 out of 10, and I want to say that because I'm setting the bar to what I did last week as the only position I have to beat. So if I can do better than a 2 out of 10 this week, then I've already improved my life, right? And eventually I want to start having 10 out of 10 days that I truly do believe are 10 out of 10. You know, and I also want to say that this scale isn't linear; it is exponential. And so I hope that I can start having really good days. I still haven't. It's Tuesday night now, and I still haven't really met anyone new. I'm hoping tomorrow I'm gonna go try to play a sport that's more social, maybe play some volleyball, and then I'll meet somebody new. But I haven't really progressed that. I'm still doing decent work. I haven't done anything exceptional, right? And I haven't really done anything outside of work exceptionally. So to be honest, I'm probably having around a 2 again this week right now. And I think fitness-wise I'm doing good. But see what I mean? Like, I'm not saying 2 is bad towards other people's standards. A 2 could be someone else's 6, right? But for me, that just shows you how much growth I want to have. If I could have a 5 every week where I'm actually just getting better, like I guess it's not a rate of getting better or not getting better now. It's more of how quickly I can get better, right? So I'm at a 2 out of 10 of speed of how quickly I think I can improve, how quickly I think I can just make advancement in my life. And I think you got to believe in yourself and know that you can do it, right? And you can be the only person that doesn't doubt, right? Everyone else in your life, well, I guess not. That, you can't. Yeah, of course you can't doubt yourself. But what it really is you can't be. You are the only person. Let me say this. You are the only person that cares about your life. Well, no, you're not the only person, but you should be the person. Let me say it like this. Let me say it like this. In your life, you should be the one caring about it most, right? You shouldn't have your dad worrying about your life more, your mom, your friend, your sister. And if they are, it depends on what extent, but it might be kind of weird. And then two, you got to start looking at your own life and saying like, damn, are they right? Right? I think if you have this introspection in your life, then you're already caring just as much as they are. Because if they're thinking about your life and you're thinking about your life, then how can they? I guess they could be thinking about it more, but hopefully not. But at the end of the day, I think you got to care about your life more about other people, and I think I do. I do want to say this is kind of an addendum. I was watching this guy. His name is Why Learn Tech, and he was preaching about more about like principles towards life. Like I watched this one. What is money? And what I guess what do you do with your savings, right? And I guess he was saying that he did it. That's the way he does it. But at the same time, he was acting more of like a teacher, versus the way that I want to come off is just more of like we're in discussion. I guess I said this at the beginning of the video. I'm really not trying to convince anybody to think the way I think, but it's just another perspective, and I'd love to hear other people's perspectives. And I guess that's maybe why I like watching YouTube. And I think other people do like other people's perspectives. And that's why content creators. Yeah, I guess I wrote a 2 out of 10. Social, I went to hang out. I did go hang out with some of my friends. We went to this concert dome. Overall, interesting experience. I think I'll talk about it more later. Physically, I am getting stronger. I'm getting back into fit. I ran 2 miles at 17 and a half minutes yesterday. So I'm getting back towards my goal. Money-wise, wealth-wise, I'm still working, so I got a steady income. I invested in a little bit in some tech stocks, and I'm just slowly leaking money into them. The market dropped pretty hard today. Probably going to be ready again tomorrow. So we'll see how it goes. But they were saying just in your 20s, or he was saying that in your 20s is the best time to invest, and I agree. Because it's not about timing the market, it's about time in the market. And if you can start to get these extra 10 years of like $20 even, that's a whole nother double. So that's already $40 by the age of 30. And that's if it's not good. Like market's kind of mid. So here's some more of things that I actually wrote down for myself. I wrote plans never go to plan, so plan for it. Yeah. I would say I plan with some buffer. I don't think about too much of what will go wrong if it's not something that I'm really hosting, or if I'm not in expectations of others. Maybe I should. But I think that my on-the-spot planning is good enough to give myself time to solve the problem. Or put yourself in positions for success. I agree. I think on a deeper level, if I want to meet, like the whole reason I'm going to stop rock climbing is because I wasn't meeting the people that I wanted to meet. And when I was living in Los Angeles, I was meeting really cool people. I was meeting, yeah, cool, interesting people. And the people that I'm meeting rock climbing here are not that cool or not that interesting. There's just not that many of them. So yeah, so I'm gonna stop. That's gonna go hoop, and it's the next thing. Time to start hooping. I'm gonna play some volleyball too. I went to go work out today, but it was all right. I wasn't really in the mood, so I kind of just did some cardio. This was something I solved this week. So when I sit crisscross applesauce, so if I sit like this, and I guess I can sit like this eventually starts to, my like leg starts to go numb, and so and what I found out was it's not because I'm have like not very flexible, but it's because I'm actually putting pressure on a tendon, and it's making my rest of my foot feel numb. So I'm actually have normal blood circulation. The people can calmly solve problems, but understand urgency. I think this is in context of somebody I want to be. I want to be able to, like I think I said this last time, I want more anxiety in my life. I want to understand urgency, but I also want to be able to thrive in it. You know, and I think I can. I think I can survive in an industry where I'm under the clock, I'm under the pressure, but I'm also that's where I work the best. That's where I work the fastest. That's where I work most efficient. And I want them to call my name when that time comes, because that's when I know I'm worth the money, I'm worth the big bucks, I'm actually somewhat of importance, and I should use it as leverage. But I need other people to think. It doesn't. I think a lot about in life. It doesn't matter what you think of yourself, because that's how you get there. But the only reward that you really get is recognition. And then you can use that recognition as like tokens to upgrade your life, right? And recognition doesn't necessarily mean fame. Like, of course, there are famous people, and their recognition gets them opportunities to ads and like other things, creative ideas, right? But recognition also in the corporate environment means that you can say, hey, this other company is going to pay me X amount more than what you're paying me now. I don't want to leave. And if they understand too that you're one of the key players, then how can they say no? Because it's harder to get somebody new to fill your role, catch up on all the information that you've done, and that search is probably going to be around the same amount of money they would have to pay you to just not do it. And you're important. So this next year I think I'm going to get a raise this year, but I'm hoping next year to get a promotion and raise, to be honest. I've kind of adopted this mindset about making things better. How would I improve this experience? Everything's about selling the experience. I've really thought about, for example, I went to Concert Dome with my friends, as I said earlier, and you get in there, it's just a dome tent. You get in there, it's about 2 concentric circles, or I think it was 3 in recliners, and we sat right behind a speaker. So it's probably around 7 speakers in the back. So it's like 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and like another single one somewhere, right? And the audio was just kind of mid, to be honest. And the whole thing was it was going to be classical strings. So it's 2 banjos? Viola. I think it was viola? I guess so. So 2 violas, 1 violin, 2 violas, 1 violin, 1 bass, 1 drums. And it was just, I think the best part about the experience was the people actually playing the instruments. Everybody had such a personality, and I've never seen the viola play like so aggressively, so much. I could just feel sass coming off of them, and the music was pretty good too. But I think the audio was just so terrible, and also the visuals. They were playing, you basically just lie back in the recliner, and then they were playing just basic trippy visuals that you can get off of YouTube, super cheap, and they're cool because like you're looking at that, and it's a whole dome, right? But I didn't really enjoy looking at it. I basically sat upright and watched the artist the entire time, because they were also each one was their own character. Like the drummer, he never did anything extra. Just like he was like just super in beat, he's just super focused. And then at the end of every show, he'd always go like this, he'd wave a stick, and he'd look around just like accepting his applause. To the left of him, they're on a circle in the middle. To the left of him was a part owner, and he was getting all the solos. He had so much ego, I could just tell. And so when he's playing, he's like moving his head, he's grooving. He would turn around, not looking at his music, just doing his thing. I didn't think he had so much ego where he would try to reach notes that were a little bit too high for him. But I think if he just really was there to play, not show off and play like as best he could, I think he would be even better. And you had some other people, like there was a bass girl, was this bigger Asian girl, and she surprisingly had sass too. Like I thought she was gonna be super demure and just like she's like this. But then everyone kind of got on the mic to introduce a song, and so she actually was pretty outspoken, and it was I didn't think her demeanor wasn't like her actual personality, so that was good. But yeah, the changes that I was making, going back to the mindset, the changes I would make is I would put the speakers, and I don't have to see what it actually looks like, but I would put the speakers, since they have so many, in the center. Putting the speakers on the outside and then putting them all in means that the people in the center are getting the best noise, right? And so why would you give yourself the best noise? Of course you're gonna think it sounds amazing, but you're getting delayed from like 3 different areas. You'd also get people bouncing off the ceiling, and then you hear them. And that one you can't prevent as much, but you can definitely, I would put it in the middle, spray it out, or even do it into 4 sections. Like do a what's it called? Simon Says, like a Simon, one of those green, blue, yellow, red. And then just set into sections like that and set the speaker specifically for each section. Because then you would get so much better sound. And since you're trying to be a strings with a visuals aspect, isn't sound like your biggest thing? Like if they can't hear you crisp, aren't you just going to be worse than if they could hear you crisp? I don't know. I think they need to figure that out. They need to focus on that as much as possible. The visuals can come later. You can actually create something a little bit more creative and have something that corresponds with the music. Like they did the Titanic. Wherever you are. And they just had like water, right? And then they had iceberg show up. And that was probably the most creative thing that they did the entire show. At one point, there was just like random gas, right? And it's cool, but it just doesn't really have anything to do with the show. Okay. Another thing too, so I was having a discussion, or my brother called me gay, pretty much. And it's because, so I'm wearing pimple patches right now, like right here and right here. And he said that they're gay, but I was thinking, I still stand by that they're not, but the only thing that would make them gay, is it gay because only women do it? Or do only women do it because it's gay? Right? And I also don't think it's gay because, well, yeah, I also don't think it's gay because it's just trying to heal your body. I feel like it's like a Band-Aid. Everyone uses a Band-Aid. It's not gay to use a Band-Aid. Like everyone uses a Band-Aid, so why wouldn't you just use a Band-Aid? Like you can barely see it. Even if people do see it, so what? They know you have a zit. They would see, if they saw your zit without it, they know you have a zit. And you're just trying to heal the zit. So I'm just trying to heal the zit. Okay, another reason too, and maybe I should have rated last week a little bit higher, but another reason too I didn't really improve myself too much was because I had a friend from college coming to town, and he's been in some of the same videos. But so I didn't really feel like I advanced myself. I more just caught up with him, discussed life, discussed things I like to say on here. Yeah, and so I don't know, it's just good catching up with him again. I haven't seen him in a while, so that was great. I don't quite remember what I wrote this in context to. I think it was a little bit about living life and just saying things without having a deadline to them. You know, like I think a lot of people say, I want to retire, right? But when do they plan to retire? You know, I think I'm planning to retire at around 50 right now. And the way I'm running, I'm not going to make it there. But at least I'm planning to do it. And I'm trying, and I know the numbers that I need to do it. And so for people that just say, I'm going to retire, and they're not planning to do it, then isn't that going to delay the process? Right? And I think that's what I mean. And also, and I think at a small scale, when I approach problems in my life, I think I'm most nervous before the research phase. And I guess let me define the ways I solve problems. I research to understand the entire universe. Then I come up with different ideas to solve the problem. And then third is execution. Third is, and then test, right? So I guess like solving between these until like success. So I'm most nervous for the research phase because I don't know any context. You know, I'm most afraid of the dark when I can't see anything in it. And so I think that's what I was trying to say here when I said, when you know things feel quicker when you know there's an end, because you actually can say, okay, I made this much progress today. I feel good. Things move by faster. But when you never set an end goal and you never set a date, then it's going to drag on and it's going to go forever. And I also agree with this. The second sentence I wrote was everything feels manageable when you know there's an end. I think so too. Like when you say you have to retire, like I want around a little bit over 10 million, right? I think would be a good number to retire at. And how, like that's a big number. You know, truly, I don't know how I'm going to get to there, but at least I'm already planning to try to get there. You know, I think a lot of people just say it. I'm going to retire at 50, or more reasonably like retire at 65 or early 60s, even or like 60 something, 62, right? But how do you know how much money you have to save to get to there? How do you know you're going to get there? Why wouldn't you save more to get there earlier? You know. But yeah, honestly, I think the vibe of this podcast has been very different. It's kind of interesting. So I've been watching more Kitchen Nightmares, and it's coming to the tail end of my binging of Kitchen Nightmares. But I wrote down lesson from Kitchen Nightmares: surviving does not mean you're improving. I agree. I think surviving is an achievement, but it should be almost like a participation award, right? Everyone should survive, and yeah, I guess I said it best before. I think it's a participation award, and you shouldn't celebrate surviving. You can maybe pat yourself on the back, but you should only celebrate actually success. Okay, when you're talking, do you like to embellish or to downplay? I would say that I've recently learned when telling stories, it's always better to embellish a little bit, and then it's always best to downplay yourself. There are people with ego. I think there definitely are times where you can step over the line and have the ego, show the ego. I think everyone has ego, but personally for me, I like to downplay myself because then it lowers the expectations. But I guess people might thrive in expectations more because it's almost the mentality of, do you like when you go to throw out something, do you throw with all your strength and then knowing that you have to get out there because if you don't you lose, or do you throw it a little bit and then you just run past it as fast as you can? I don't know. And the whole goal is to, let's say, run the farthest distance you can, right? I don't know. I guess there's probably a happy medium where you throw it out far enough, but then you also exceed the goal by a comfortable amount where it's noticeable, right? So like let's say you run 100 meters, or the fastest that you can run is 100 meters, but you throw it out to like 80, so you run 20 more meters versus throwing it to 95, or maybe let's say throw it to 100 and then you get 105. I don't know. So I was listening to Why Learn Tech, a little bit, call back to him, and he inspired me to come up with this term called trying 20s, which means that you should always do something, even if let's say you don't want to or there's reasons not to, except for let's say you don't have money or something. But you should always do them because it teaches you that either you like it or you don't like it. Before doing it, if you've never done it, then you can never make that decision. Also, he of course is just a YouTuber, and I guess I'm a YouTuber too, and I could be just lying out of my butt. But I truly believe this too, where it's almost a sliding doors effect, right? Like if I leave my house 5 minutes earlier, or if I leave it on time, I could meet my best friend. I could be love of my life. I could find $1 million. I don't know, just something crazy, right? And you never know what would have happened if you did something a little bit later, a little bit earlier, did something wrong, did something right in a certain way, or whatever. Like these are all these alternative paths that you might as well put yourself in a position of success. You might, and even if it isn't a position, you should put yourself out there, I guess. And I think by putting yourself out there is already a success. If the experience is bad, if the experience is good, then that doesn't reflect on your attempt to try. It does reflect on your attempt to learn, though. If you do it again, I guess it depends on what your goal is the second time. But I think it's the trying 20s. I do want to try more stuff. I think I kind of use work as a crutch, where I just work all day, and because it's an easy way to say that I've improved my life, I'm not actually setting up the other parts of my life for success. And this kind of leads me to another thing Why Learn Tech said. And he said the 20s are a time to analyze what you do in your free time. And I probably have around 3 to 4 hours. I want to start waking up earlier so that I can have 5 to 6 hours of free time in the afternoon. Probably an hour or two goes to eating, so around 4 hours, right? Get off at 5. Let's say I finish eating at 7, work 4 hours of free time. I need to start spending that at least 2 hours, at least half that time, doing something else to progress my life. And I'm saying that progress my life through a wealth. Yeah, I guess through wealth. I need to spend 2 more hours through wealth. And then I can spend another 2 hours socially, maybe. And of course, not every day is going to be 2, but it could be 4 0 some days of flip flops. But I need to start spending more time on increasing my wealth, personally. And it's not even doing things, it's more just thinking about possibilities, learning. But yeah. that's the end of my notes for this last week. I think the tone of this one was a lot more. I don't know, it wasn't as fun, I guess. I wasn't really laughing as much on this one. There's a lot of just pretty deep in the mentality. But let me know if there's any topics that you want me to specifically get into. I was thinking about each week being a specific part of my life. So I can give the brief update at the beginning, or I guess not update, more of a reflection at the beginning of the video. And then maybe that week I specifically talk about how I've physically been improving, what I've thought about in the physical world, how I want to start doing different reps, what my split is, blah, blah, blah. And then the next week can be about what I want to do socially. I want to start going to more pickleball events, start playing more volleyball, get out just to be more in public again. And I think I've officially defeated my fear of talking to strangers and approaching people, guy or girl. But then I think actually, I don't like to approach with intent to date. So, but I think a lot of people, when I do approach, especially if it's a girl, hopefully not a guy, think it's with that intention. And so it is interesting because I would say I'm just polite. Like, I guess I'm just acting as a gentleman. And for some reason, that's thought of as hitting on people now. Or I could be talking about what I'm doing. I guess, yeah, mentally. It could be another serious one like this last one. But it's getting a little late. I'm probably going to shower now. And hope you all are having a great morning, great afternoon, and great night. Make sure to shower. That very important. Hygiene is very important. I guess I can also do more niche topics like that. Like I do think I wanted to talk about clothing, like style. Necessarily, or not necessarily you taking my style. I guess you can if you want, but I think a style is really a reflection of your personality. And so I think everybody has different style. But yeah, I can talk about that one week, talk about more looks maxing. I guess it's all about mental maxing. I guess you can just add maxing to anything after now, but yeah, it's all about life maxing. So you'll get out of here. Have a good night.
Song. I feel like I should post at the end of Senin just because it's so good. Town with the girl I know, and I'm like, fuck you. I'm just a change in my pocket, wasn't enough. I'm like, fuck you, and I fuck her too. And when I was with you, I'd still be with you. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that some shit? Oh no, that's pain in my chest. I still wish you the best with a fuck you. Don't need to get you there. I guess these are Xbox, and I'm more than Atari. But the way you play your game ain't fair. I picture a fool that falls in love with you. Oh, she's a gold, yeah, well, just talk to she gold. Ooh, I've got some news for you. Yeah, go on and tell your little boy. See you turning around town with the girl I know, and I'm like, Yeah. See ya.